Welcome back to Artists and Authors on CentralValleyTalk.com. We're based in the Central Valley of California. Kind of a byproduct of this whole pandemic is that we've learned to get out of our shell. We always had our guests sitting next to us right here in the studio. Now we're meeting guests all over the world. We had the other day South Africa, somebody from Paris, someone from London, and today's guest is from the exotic and faraway place called Texas. Am I right? Our guest is Gabriel González. You're in Texas, right?
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm in South Texas. I'm in the Rio Grande Valley. So Texas ends in a little tip.
Yeah.
Southeast, that's where I am.
Okay. And you have actually, well, you're a writer. You write poetry and other things, I would imagine. But you have a book that has come out called, and I'll say it in my English, and you can tell. When you speak your Spanish, it's so beautiful. Ese golpe de luz. Am I close?
Yes. Yes, of course. Yes. Ese golpe de luz. So that's the poetry book that I've published here in the south of Texas. Spanish language with Flower Song Press, which is a local press that does a lot of stuff, mostly in English, sometimes bilingually, and sometimes in Spanish, like in my case.
Good. Now, tell us, before we go too far, where can someone get the book?
So you can find it like in Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Of course, ideally, we'd love you to go to flowersongpress.com, which is the press's website, and you can find the book on there, as well as other upcoming books and books that are already part of the catalog from authors that really hail from all over the U.S. and increasingly internationally as well. And the press tries to give sort of a voice to those minority voices that normally would not get an opportunity otherwise. So it's worth going to the website and checking out what they have on there.
And now that's flowersongpress.com, is that right?
Yes.
Flowersongpress.com. By the way, if you're watching, I'm going to try to put this book on the front of our webpage today so our viewers could just click and order it right there. But I like to go to the website, like Flower Song Press. Would they find more information there about you and the other authors?
Yes. So if they go on the website, they'll see the tabs, books, authors. So every author has a page, and the catalog is in there with all the books. So there's information about that. They also have a youth imprint that's brand new, that's starting to publish youth poets, and by youth we mean like teenagers. And so this is part of the call of Flower Song Press, is to call the next generation to rise and express itself through poetry.
Yeah, and I read a lot, maybe one or two or sometimes 3 books a week. And whenever I could go to a website and read up on the author, I just get so much more enjoyment out of the book, see where they're coming from, the process they went through. I mean, books aren't written in a day, right? It's months or sometimes years or a lifetime to put stuff together.
Yes, and certainly you'll find that information at the website. The general editor, Edward Vidaurre, he's big on sort of like write your now, what's important to you right now. So there's the author's life story is, of course, linked to the kind of poetry. And now they're starting to publish other books as well, short stories and other things that you'll find on there.
Yeah, that's flowersongpress.com, by the way. Pretty easy. Now, tell me about your book. How did it come about? What is in it? I'm not a great Spanish reader, which we've already established here today, but tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, so I never fancied myself a poet. I'm a translator by training. I have a law degree. So I teach translation at University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. But I've always enjoyed poetry. Like you, I really enjoy reading. I always enjoyed poetry. So I would write occasional poems just because something I needed to get off my chest. But I never thought about publishing any of this. But there's a very active literary and poetic community here in the Rio Grande Valley. And they hold a yearly festival, poetry festival. That's the Rio Grande Valley International Poetry Festival. And so I thought, might as well try. It's local, and we'll see how that goes. And they accepted one of the poems I sent, which is now in this book about Brownsville. And people on there like Daniel Garcia Ordaz were very sort of encouraging. So I started publishing here and there, but also polishing some of the older stuff I've written. And I wrote new stuff. And then when I felt that it was sort of ready, I said, okay, well, I'm going to try. I might as well try. You know, worst thing that can happen if I don't try is nothing. And if I try and nothing happens, then, you know, okay. So I lost a few hours. But a lot more than that, actually. But okay, but you know.
More than a few hours, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Edward liked it, and he decided to publish it, to take a chance on it, for which I'm very grateful, of course. Because when one writes poetry, there's a lot of you that goes into those texts. So it's sort of a vulnerable thing to do.
Very good, very good. Now, I encourage people to go look up this book, find the book, and you don't have to speak Spanish. It's fun for those of us who studied Spanish our entire lives and speak almost none. It's fun to go through books like this and see sentence structure and how the words are used that, you know, is new to us. But especially if you speak Spanish, I think you could enjoy this book. Now, I think maybe you're going to read something for us, do a reading?
Yes, I'd love to do that. It is in Spanish, so maybe I can tell you a little bit about what it says. For your readers or listeners who are bilingual, it'll make sense. But if for those that aren't, just to give you some context, I once read a lot of, when we write poetry, sometimes we're reacting. You know, right here now, we're reacting to things. And I read this poem from a famous poet, and it was just so gloomy. It was about how, you know, life is horrible, and the only thing that's good about life is that it's going to end. And so at the time, there had been some deaths in my family, and I needed to react to this emotionally. So I wrote this poem, which says that actually what counts is what happens between birth and death. That's the thing that's worth celebrating. It's called Sin lugar a dudas, which means no doubt about it. So, esta fugaz existencia es el fogonazo flotante de un faro en la noche sin confines. Es ruido entre dos silencios. Es luz. Mejor dicho, es un bemol visible. Visto esto, vista ella, sin lugar a dudas, lo importante vendría a ser la vida, ¿verdad? Y en ese destello que transcurre entre el primer llanto expectante y el último suspiro vacilante, todos vivimos como si algo, como si alguien. El nacimiento, esa muerte necesaria, nos inicia en el sendero de llantos sentidos, risas y placeres sufridos que nos lleva de regreso a la muerte, ese nacimiento insalvable. Durante esos instantes terrenales descubrimos que los sueños nos alegran de noche, que los niños dan trabajo y alegran, que las pesadillas nos aterran de día, que los viejos dan trabajo y entristecen, que el hoy es el ayer del mañana. Algunos nos enamoramos 7 veces, 7 veces 7. Algunos nos enamoramos una vez para toda la vida. Otros no nos enamoramos. Todos regalamos mentiras por piedad. Todos escondemos rencores en el desván. Hay quienes llegan a odiar. Somos, en fin, bandadas de rarae aves, rasgando en eternos giros insospechables el fondo del cielo. Todo entre un llanto y un suspiro de luz. Ese golpe de luz, vale decir, la luz de ese golpe, de algún lado viene, de alguna parte va, por una corriente invisible antes de su luminoso estallido, aunque pronto se desvanezca de la memoria de la retina, seguirá en su viaje de energía y partícula hasta los confines de la noche sin confines. So there was that line in there, ese golpe de luz, so that's life, right?
Uh-huh, yeah. And so that's the title poem of the book, I guess.
Yeah, so the title of the book comes from the middle of that poem. So it's and it's intended to celebrate life, not through some rose-colored glasses. The poem admits that life is difficult, but that's why we should cherish it and try to make the most out of it.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're tuning in, and it's fun to have books from people that we kind of know and see live and talk to and stuff. So if you're watching and you want to order this book, I'll put it right on our website in about 15 minutes. And we're going to take this video, Gabriel, and put it on our YouTube, our Facebook, Instagram, and I'm going to send him, and he's going to spread it out too. So share this. If you guys see it come through on your Facebook, share it to other people. Let's get a little buzz going on this. Order the book on our website, because if you do, we make like 2 cents or something. But better yet, go to flowersongpress.com and check out not only Gabriel, but all the great authors and things they're doing. There are a lot of things going on at Flower Song Press. We're out of time, Gabriel. Last thoughts?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, I agree with you. I hope people can pick up, if you read Spanish, pick up the book and enjoy it. But do go to the website. There's a lot of stuff there bilingually and also in English that is worth reading. I've read not all of it, but significant amount of it, and it's worth reading.
All right. We invite you back anytime. Please send the other authors from Flower Song Press, and we'll put them on the show. And international, we've gone international now thanks to COVID, but thanks for taking your time out, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.
CentralValleyTalk.com